question before it just sinks in.
Explodes. Exactly.
It's very fast.
Oh no!
I need to show you a video of me doing stand-up badly because you showed one last time. And 3,
I tried to, but I was just so talented.
I know, yeah, you tried to.
Just like intangible red flag territory. Like he's not
Yes.
saying anything
Oh,
specific,
interesting.
But like
Yeah.
just as he's talking, you're like, do not be in a room alone with this man.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, so
So-
we can all love each other. No.
All right, great. Okay, great.
No.
This is great. What about him is an intangible red flag? Is it a way he appears, way he talks, hand gestures?
Do you know what
is
the
it?
word intangible means?
All right, I'm gonna go have a piss. Ashley, you're in charge.
I'm in charge. I'm in charge. Bitches.
I went down on a juicy poozy, and
Uh-oh, got a fart in this chair's gonna make it reverberate. Hey, wait.
John.
Hey.
Oh no! Oh no! Everybody else, hey, where are you?
Hey.
What's going on? I'm just waiting for music. I thought you were
No.
getting music. Oh, I thought you were just
One
getting
of how my
music.
penis gets born.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Here's a shed.
the ice cream cones came with a little metal packet that
Oh.
is just full of sugar. It's just full of sugar to be poured into the cones.
I got what has the Japanese not gotten a hold of, perfected, and then when everyone was like, "You did it," they went, "And now we'll begin." And you're like, "No, you fixed it. It was fixed. Do not break it." More. They're like, no, we got to break this.
I still have some more questions.
Go ahead.
John Hastings is on America's Got Talent for 5 minutes, and now he's got houses in LA and London.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kept a house in London?
Yeah, I've kept a house in London.
Update, not sugar.
There's no fluid tasting enough to warrant sucking it out of him. Yeah. No, but it was did he do it when he was then in the band when they were the 4 Bee Gees that brief time before then his heart exploded?
Wow.
I'm not saying anything that didn't happen. That is what happened to him.
I'm a predator.
And it was going awesome. And we even started having drinks at a bar, and we each had girlfriends with us, whatever. We're having a great time until I got comfortable enough to go, hey, we share a birthday,
As someone who's been eternally single,
Go ahead. Is it your fault? Yes. No. I'm sorry.
Stop tweeting after your dates, Ashley. Stop tweeting after your dates.
Oh, bad news, Paul. You're getting a Batman band.
This is not bad news. I am so pleased.
Support them.
But you know what's more important than helping people's mental health?
Fuck you, John.
I'm just saying. Tom, you're a comedy fan.
Here's what happened. So I came up after she finished a couple times.
How did you
I'm not one's not enough.
What
You go for 2. That's how you start it out.
Smooth or crunchy?
And then oh Jesus, boom. And so so when I emerged, I went to kiss her and she just grabbed my face and she sucked it all out of my beard.
So hurtful.
That's a literary reference. Oh no, I gotta.
Hey, you can't tie me up. Now I'm the only one here. Books, pages. Right. Verb, noun, adjective. Nice.
Someone get me that.
I'm very prone to bullying.
No, you're talking about Andy Gibb.
I am talking about Andy Gibb. Pardon me.
Get your Gibbs straight if you want to come at me, bro.
Sorry.
Those nice bearded men and their Aryan friends seem like they're doing very different shows.
Marioleine's got pink eye. She touched her hole.
I tried to. It crawled away too quickly.
It's difficult with tea. Sometimes you try and tune it and you get Assam.
I'm
Oh.
officially declaring it. Jordan is the governor general of
thank
this
you.
stream.
God damn it, guys! I took a riddle today. I can only focus on one thing at a time.
What is happening right now?
Chris, John, and Irish Ashley combine to make the ultimate team, better than any wet dream. Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream. John's the CEO and Boomer. Ashley's the real leader. Chris brings the vibes and juices as our enjoyment increases. Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You did?
Oh, we're live, are we? Cool, great. I'll stop doing admin.
You do you, bud. That's all right. This whole show is based on, just feel it. Just vibe it out.
It's just vibes. It's
Yeah,
just
just
intuition.
The purest
It's
all
just all of
vibes.
that.
So for
natural goodness.
anyone watch Hello Troggies, how's it going? John is gone. I don't know why he's gone. I did not remember that he wouldn't be here this week. So when you were like, "We have no John," I was like, "Okay, I guess we
He's-
fired John." I missed it.
He's doing touristy things with his mother, I believe.
Oh, that was just okay. Cool. Okay.
But
Yes.
100%. I now think John's a spy.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's not a
That
bad
would
shout.
actually make more sense. It would be
Yeah.
more on brand for him.
Can we discuss what that would look like?
But let's get the introductions out of the way first, and then we're
Sure,
going to
sure,
get to Spy John, the worst,
Yes.
the worst
The worst
plan
of
for a
the
spy. So tall.
Oh, it is. Paul, did you just bring your stream in here?
I did. But I'm
You're
not streaming.
hosting.
I haven't been
Nice.
streaming, but I wanted to host this as well, so I may as well.
You know what? You're absolutely right, Kimmers. That was a raid.
Suck my beer, try it's a raid. Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream with John, Chris, and Ashley. Stick around and give us a follow. You are awesome.
Thanks for the raid questing time. If anyone
You're
isn't
welcome.
following questing time, obviously follow questing time, because
Yes.
that is the host of questing time is our fabulous guest, John, Paul Foxcroft.
Hi.
Yay!
It's Paul, our most punctual guest.
It's Paul,
Toby.
right?
Consistently.
He's a real cool guy. That's
Thank you.
Paul's
Thank you,
great.
stock footage approval man.
Oh, that's such a great title for him.
Skeptical.
Stock footage approval man.
I
fair
like skeptical.
warning.
I like skeptical farmer too. Sorry.
Yes, Skeptical
Oh,
Farmer.
do you-
If Skeptical Farmer has a real name, though.
Yeah,
I forget
that's
his
David
name.
Crosby from Crosby,
Oh,
Stills,
yes.
Nash and Young.
Do you know I've never seen? Actually, no, I've seen Young, but I've never seen images of the others and been like, "That's who that guy is." Like I might know them
Right.
by sight, but I don't know them to associate. That's
He's
not what I
disappointed.
pictured.
David Crosby is disappointed in you.
I don't know if he's disappointed or if he knows how to open a puzzle box he's just handed me.
Ooh, yeah, but he's disappointed you can't. He's upset. He doesn't know. He doesn't know who he just handed a fucking puzzle box to. That's what he did.
That's true. I have a small disclaimer for this show. If I leave abruptly, there's a good reason.
That was going to be the next thing on the list. So we
yeah.
have guest John, which is Paul and Ashley.
Hello.
You've had a big couple days.
I've had a week. Boom Stickery
Bam,
nailed it.
right in there, right in
I have had, I want to say 5 or 6 bouts of diarrhea today.
Oh my god.
I'm not good. So if I leave,
Yeah.
I may not come back, but I'll try.
How far are you from the nearest toilet and or bathroom?
Very
Risk assess
close
this
to the
for us.
toilet. I'm
Very
very
close.
close to the toilet.
Give-
There's a
give us
toilet,
a floor plan.
like
We-
right there, like
right there.
It's right there. So I've had a really shitty week in more ways than one. I was absolutely fine up until Tuesday, and then on Wednesday I just got floored. I was on the phone to a friend of mine for a couple of hours in the morning, and I was lying on the couch talking to her, and I felt like I was getting seasick on the couch.
Not a great
So
time.
towards the end, not a good
Wait,
time.
quick
No.
question. Were you at sea?
I was actually like floating on a river, so not quite at sea, but yeah. I could see the sea.
Yeah, there
Maybe
you go.
that's what it was.
There you go.
We do have a sea view. No, I just was lying down and just the world started to spin a wee bit. And I'm enjoying this.
The chat is
and
being
this.
just disgusting.
Disgusting.
Podcast listeners, Steve Mooney says he calls it the brown rain. Boom Sticker coming in with brown thunder. There was another one. Oh yeah.
It's like I would argue it's an obsessive amount of redundant euphemisms for a thing
Yeah.
we're all familiar with. Like we don't need.
Yeah.
You're not like we're not alluding to anything. We've
No,
just
we're
said
not alluding
diarrhea.
to anything.
But
Yeah.
like,
I
chat is
have
like,
diarrhea.
No. Here's a more palatable way of discussing it, so we don't have to bring up diarrhea.
I don't think
I
gravy
would not
running out of
think
you
that
is
any of
anymore.
these.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, these are not palatable.
It's not palatable.
Yeah, and so then I got off the phone, and within an hour, I was in bed. I was not able to
no.
function, and a few hours after that, I threw up everything. And then shortly after that, I was getting the shits, and they have not really stopped. They stopped yesterday, and I was able to go out for lunch, and I was just like, oh my god, I'm through it. We're good. And then
Yeah.
this morning,
Back at it. What is
Right
it?
now for
Back at
lunch, just rancid meat.
What? Yeah.
I have
I don't know why
absolutely
they're
no
still
idea
here.
what it is. I genuinely, there is nothing. I
Is it-
cannot place it. Why it's happening?
Is it just pooping or is it vomiting as well? And if it is, have you had?
I
to
was
make
vomiting
the
on
choice?
Wednesday. I was vomiting on Wednesday.
Isn't that
and
a
it's
Craig David
long
song?
Time. It's a long time since I vomited without being drunk. So it's that wasn't fun. And all I had eaten at that point in the day was fruit. So it was just like a great big smoothie. Sorry for the description, but
No, that's how they used to make them in Roman times.
Yeah.
Just baby burden it.
Yeah.
So are you gonna die? No one's supposed to have
I
diarrhea
don't
for
think
5
so.
days.
I haven't had it consistently at this rate. Today's actually been the worst day. I had it on Wednesday. I had a little bit of like, I'm not trusting any farts today. On Thursday, Friday I was kind of good, but I didn't feel great. And then Saturday yesterday I felt great. I was fine. And then today I just woke up with really bad diarrhea again. My stomach and like vomiting was worse before. But again, I have no reason for this.
Weird. I actually
I need
thought
to
of
pick
you
up blood.
because I got to my shift, so I'm working at that event space right now, and got there, changed into my clothes for the shift, and then just immediately it was like, I'm gonna shift right now, and like ran across the hall, got into the
I love that you
stall,
think of me when you shit yourself.
and I didn't even have time to like lock the door. Like I just jumped in, pulled my pants down, sat down, and then locked the door, and it was just in time. And I was like, Ashley's gonna love this. Ashley's gonna love
Great.
this.
I do love that.
Yeah.
I have shat with the door open many times.
Paul, it's so good to see you.
It's lovely. It's really nice to see you guys.
Paul,
Let's run this down.
tell
I
us
haven't done
about
this- I
your
haven't been here for a
diarrhea.
while. Well, here's the thing. You reminded me of a story now. This is not me. But so before the plague, you guys know, do you remember the plague? Do you remember the plague?
Oh, yeah, that
before the
thing.
plague, I used to teach improv for a living.
Wait, do you mean the actual plague or the pandemic?
I mean the pandemic.
Okay, I thought we were going into
Which
a
le-
history
Why is
topic.
so
then.
I'm going to fiddle with my camera settings because for some reason the autofocus is turned back on and it's not very good. But
So before the pandemic.
yeah, sorry, I'll stop zooming in and zooming out now. I taught improv, and one of my students came to me one evening. We were at a show. One of my ex-students came up and was like, "Hey man, how you doing?" So I'm good. And he said, "I said, what are you up to? Are you still improvising?" And he said, "Yeah, I've been taking classes with some other folks since I graduated from your thing." And I was like, "Cool." And he was like, "I always think people are going to be mad about that." I was like, "Not me." But he said, "I just wanted to say, like, I thought you were a good teacher then, I really appreciate how good a teacher you are now. And I was like, oh, please tell me this story because
That's nice.
approval.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he told me a tale that the teacher he had at this other improv company, which I'm not naming because I think they're pretty good, but this guy was not a good example of the teaching style. And he has since been fired for reasons.
Private chat.
Nice.
Private chat.
Private chat, though.
Private chat. That's why we have it, baby. Because I have a guess in my head that I think it is, especially when you say the fired for other reasons business.
Yeah. Is that what you were thinking?
Oh, not who I was guessing, but it is the improv community, so it could have been anyone.
Tell me who you thought in the private chat. Fuck you, the viewers. So this guy was telling me it was the second or third week of his classes with this guy, and sometimes if a couple of people like going to be 5 minutes late, like it's perfectly reasonable, I guess, to like hold off on starting the class. If you've got the kind of class where it's like, here's the ground rules and everything we do for the next 3 hours is based on this. And that's so in the private chat, Chris, and that's an entirely legitimate response. And I have other stories that I can't talk about on air, which we're going to talk about later.
Right? I'm not. Listen, it's not that Baldy guessed exactly what I said, but it's just I'm just bringing this up on the screen for no reason at all. That's all.
But anyway, so this guy, so the teacher. They get to the class and they're waiting for like a couple of minutes because some of the students are a couple of minutes out. And the teacher's like, okay. So the teacher always wore like long shorts, not like culottes, but like long shorts. He was an American dude living in London, and he said, I know it looks like I pissed myself. It's so stupid. I had a Diet Coke and I shook it. I didn't realize I'd shaken it. And I opened it just before you guys got into class. And it's all over my fucking trousers, and so nobody worry.
So why?
And the other two students alive. The other two students arrive, and he's like, he teaches the class. At the end of the class, to the entire class, he goes, "Okay, look, it was piss. I just put my dick away before I'd finished pissing, and I didn't even think.
That has happened to all of us. That has happened to.
But like
the way they described it was like. It was plausible that he'd spilled an entire bottle of Diet Coke on his trousers. Like it was a huge...
That's not a dribble. That dude just pissed his pants. He pissed his pants.
But he's apparently gotten away with it, and then he just what?
1 week later, exactly the same circumstance. A couple of people are late for the class, and the guy says, "Oh man, I was just giggling to myself. I remember this time when like I needed to take a shit real bad," and already the class is like, Why is this even being discussed?
Mm-hmm.
And either way, he was on a date, and he realized he needed to take a shit real bad. And so what he did was he was on the drive home, and he drove his date home, dropped her off at her house, and just fucking immediately drove off. And she must have been like, "That was weird." And he drove back to his place. He parks up out front. He runs into his house, which he shares with his flatmates.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because he was so panicked, just ran into his bedroom, jumped into the bed, and shat himself because he got confused.
What?
And
who is this man? And why does
it's
anyone
in
pay
the
him
private
to
chat.
teach them things?
They don't
But
know
I mean, like, in
because
his
he
heart.
had some issues with phoning female students at night. But yeah, that was his like. He was like, I needed to use the toilet so bad I got confused and just got into bed and did his shit there.
No, not an answer.
You know what?
Not an
No.
answer.
Now, I want to put this also in the context of this story was unbidden, given to a class full of people who had paid him cash money to teach them a skill.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
At the beginning of the class.
He's going to reverse bury these people. They're all just going to become killers. They thought they wanted to do improv. They'll become trained killers.
I can slightly side with him on being disoriented and just not actually being able to think properly when you're in a bad situation. I can kind of, but getting into bed is weird. Getting into bed is a weird panic decision to make. But telling a classroom a student, that's weird.
Weird.
That's not appropriate. But as we've established, he's not an appropriate person anyway.
No, he's not.
Doesn't know the boundaries of things.
I would take any amount of money to bet that he didn't even flip his mattress after he did that.
I would be inclined to agree.
He didn't do
Like-
shit. He shit his bed. He took the sheets off.
It
Probably
depends on the damage to the mattress.
probably
though.
didn't have a
Like,
backup sheet and just slept on the other side of the bed that night.
Sorry, I just want to commend Baldy for that. Can we make Baldy's
Oh,
comment go
Baldy,
big?
oh.
Because it's an absolute peach.
Says I didn't know John taught improv. Hey.
oh wow.
Yeah, he didn't. There's no way he did that. I bet he told himself he was going to wash his sheets and then didn't do it for like a week. It just sat in a pile on the corner of his floor until his roommate complained about the smell. This guy that's not a singular thing. Like this rolled downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Steve Mooney, who would tell dozens of people that you shot yourself?
Yeah, unless you're hosting a podcast on Twitch, like why else would you tell someone that story? That's the only reason.
Like in any, there's no professional. Let me rephrase. There are very few professional contexts where you apropos of nothing go, oh yeah, I shit myself 4 years ago. Here's the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really odd to just pull it out of nowhere in a situation where it's definitely not appropriate. Like this is one thing. This is we bring up stories as content. Like that's what we do.
Yeah, whereas this guy is like filling for 3 minutes while some people are at the bar getting water.
Yeah, and also like we basically met Ashley through her like venting past traumas. That's like how we were introduced, and so
that's my vibe.
become canon. It's part of the show now. That was not. Hello, Chris Aquarius. Welcome to the channel.
Welcome.
Oh, Johnny Depp
in.
thing. I feel like we're not going to like Chris.
Mm.
Keep an eye on the mods. That could go either way.
Who's the Johnny
Could be a
Depp?
fun guy. Could be
It's
absolutely a
photo.
troll.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely troll. Whenever they come in with
Yeah.
jokes, always
Bye
a
bye,
troll.
Chris Aquarius.
See you, buddy.
Doodle pip.
Yeah.
I
My-
bet
on
Worst
my
Shit Story is
stream?
an icebreaker at corporate do somewhere. Yeah, probably. It probably is an
wouldn't surprise
icebreaker
me.
situation somewhere. It's an icebreaker situation here, I feel.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a guest that's new that hasn't been on the show before, I'm like, I feel like we're gonna get into shitting ourselves pretty quickly.
I'm looking forward to the
Yeah.
sister podcast of this stream, which is just, hey, what's up with your shits?
No. Let's
You'll
just get
become the
down.
new McElroys.
Let's get rid of all the like quasi politics, any of that nonsense. Let's get right to what our listeners
Let's cut
want.
right to the turds.
Just shit. That's all we want. Just come on in. We'll make it a 20-minute episode. Our guest comes
Yeah.
in, talks shit. It's called talking shit.
That's it. It's called talking shit.
Talking
on.
shit.
Come
Yeah.
on.
So I'm currently at the phase where I know there's going to be more because of the pain that I'm in. I'm in so much pain in my abdomen, gut area that
Yeah.
it's like
in
it's
the
like
poop factory.
churning pain.
Yeah, it's the Poop Factory,
Poop
Ashley.
Factory.
Use the name.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
we're
or,
technical
Poop
podcast.
Factory.
Yeah,
Or
thank you.
Trash Bag Central.
That is
I didn't bring my bucket. The toilet's very close, but I did have a bucket next to my bed all week. And
Diamond Geezer says, "Bleep ba 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 da ba." You're the scat man.
yeah,
Poop.
that would be
You
a
remember
great.
there was an improv troupe in the
intro
UK called the Scat
music.
Pack for a while.
The scat pack.
Yeah, they're now
like
called the Mischief, and they're alarmingly successful because they wrote the play that went wrong, the play that goes wrong.
Oh shit, they wrote that.
Right.
Yeah, they were called the Scat Pack when they started out, and I'm like, I guess like 4 years into their careers, one of them Googled the term and was like, we have to rebrand.
Well, that's you see that sometimes with entertainers, so they go, "Oh, do we need to take ourselves seriously?" Because like
Yeah.
there was a band in Canada called the Rainbow Butt Monkeys, and they were like they had like middling success, like they could play small venues, they had their fans, and everybody else went, "That's the worst band name I've ever heard. No thanks."
Mm,
And then they changed their name to Finger 11 and became like a #1 big Canadian star. And all they
right.
did was change the name. And even that, Finger 11, what's your 11th finger, Ashley? You got 10 up here. Where's that 11th one?
It's certainly a term I've used
it's
to
up
describe
here.
my tongue or
Not
penis.
here.
Or it's down here.
No, some people no, but not me and Paul. Paul, yeah. So So yeah, so they still got a dick joke in.
Paul was not sure how he felt about you doing that.
Oh, Paul, sorry. No, Paul down here. No, Paul and John. No, not me though. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't feel like bringing the bucket because I didn't want it to be one of those self-fulfilling prophecy things, you know.
It'd be pretty great.
If I bring the bucket, I'm gonna use the bucket.
Okay, here's what's about to happen. We're gonna keep doing this episode. Ashley, if you end up having to use the bucket and or toilet, we're immediately turning it into a Patreon episode. We're cutting off all the feed. We're starting a record again, and it's only available on the Patreon stream.
Yeah.
And bring your phone.
Like
Don't forget
Ashley's
your phone.
mic will be live the whole time.
Yeah,
And that's gonna
That's
be
what the Patreon stream is.
I should get one of those little lapel things.
Or you should get one of those 2 ears mics the ASMR people have.
Oh yeah.
Put that next to your bathroom.
Oh god. And get a left and right feed, like
It's ASMR, but it's explosive liquids coming out of a human body.
I guarantee that
Nothing-
exists, and I
nothing soft about
guarantee there's an OnlyFans for it.
Just such aggressive.
If you can think it, there's porn of it.
Oh
Like,
yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's why I don't like to think.
yeah, thinking is a dangerous endeavor. So yeah, I haven't really done too much all week. I read a very good book though. I really enjoyed that, and
What was it?
it was The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet.
Okay.
And it's really, really good. It's a space adventure. It really felt like I was reading an episode of Doctor Who or Star Trek or something along those lines. Really fun characters. We got some lesbian, alien, lizardy type porn in there. It's quite good. There's not actually
Scaly.
porn. There's just a nice relationship development. It's quite good. It was really good, and I discovered towards the end of reading it that it's the first of 4. So
Nice.
I know where to go next. Although I don't have the second one yet, so I'm just going to read something else for the meantime.
Who is the author, if they can so be called?
Becky Chambers is the author. Highly recommend this book. It's really, really good. David Hoare. David Hoare's girlfriend loves those books. I really enjoyed it. And the whole time I was reading it, I could really see it as a Netflix special, or not Netflix special,
Well,
Netflix
not now.
series.
Hmm.
Not a series would be really cool. Not now, no. Netflix.
Yeah, well,
can't
Netflix aren't
afford
making
to make
anything.
anything. Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
Um,
there was like a 3-year period where Netflix bought everything that was sent to them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have friends that are producers that are like, yeah, they just keep buying. It's like they can't stop buying things. They're like, it's like it's 4 a.m. at all times in Netflix, and they just come
Wow.
home drunk and they're just filling up their wish list. And now everything's gone. And obviously that whole time they were like, send me scripts, and I was like, I'll do it tomorrow. And now Netflix is dead.
Yeah, I've exactly the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
so we were talking, like, I can't talk in specifics, but like I have a day job at the minute, and
Yeah,
it's
me too.
really like it's been a long while since I've had to work 8 hours a day for another human.
That's a lot, right?
And that hasn't been on something that hasn't been write a show, direct a show, or say these words near a camera,
Mm-hmm.
or say these words on stage, and it's fucking weird.
It's odd.
Yeah,
I stopped
especially
doing.
coming out of the COVID times.
Well, I had to stop doing. I stopped doing shows for 2 weeks because, like, partly I needed to like get my head right, but also I was like physically being at work for 8 to some of my shifts are 13 hours.
Right.
And so between that, my body's just not used to it. I'm a lazy person, Paul. I do not do things.
I'm a fucking improviser, man. Like, you think I like to work?
I don't. But like, I bet you go for walks and stuff. Oh man, do I ever mean to go for a walk? Oh baby, do I ever have intentions? And I just don't. I watched The Godfather today. I did exercise today. I did a lot of exercise. I sweated. because I'm doing
Was
13
that
hour
just
shifts
from
again.
watching? Was that just from watching The Godfather?
Yeah, but
Just
only,
get
only,
really
only those
sweaty.
scenes where Brando's sitting there with that cat. I'm like, ooh, nice. Just start dabbing my forehead. That cat wasn't supposed to be in it. Walked up to the window and he just picked it up in the scene.
Really?
Yeah, it's just a random cat. He's just an
Wow.
excellent actor, and that cat
Yeah.
felt immediately at home. Strange cat immediately showed its belly, and he's just in there godfathering it, just petting it.
Wow.
So
That's quite impressive.
to people who want to talk shit about Marlon Brando, I would say he just passed the cat test. So come at me, bro.
How much do we trust cats, though?
Good enough for Egyptians, good enough for bets.
Egyptians were
So,
murderers
that's an
too.
interesting. That is a really interesting rule.
That's how,
For the ancient Egyptians.
that's how I make all my. I like triangles. I like cats.
Well, your funeral's going to be interesting.
Yes.
I like all kind. Yeah, papyrus. Don't even fucking get me started on papyrus.
Papyrus is pretty cool, to be fair. I like a
right?
bit of papyrus too.
Wow.
Class
You must love the Avatar font.
Dude, that's one of the best SNL sketches, and losing that writer is one of the worst things that happened to that show. Actually, have you seen that
Who
one?
wrote that?
It was Julian. Oh, what the fuck was his last name?
Torres?
Yes. Yeah, Julian Torres.
I saw
wrote
his
that.
live show. He was amazing.
He's in, in Edinburgh?
Yeah.
I lived with him
His
in
show-
Edinburgh.
He was so cool. Oh, because Katie Story was producing that year, and friend of the show, Katie Story, that is.
Friend of the show.
And yeah, she was like, "You got," because I was in Edinburgh for like 6 days. I did like 5 nights of questing time, and I made a point of going to see that dude, and I was like, "This guy's incredible."
He's
and
remarkable.
Edinburgh doesn't get it, but his show was just called My Favorite Shapes.
Yeah, it's
and
an
it was him
HBO
on
special
stage
now.
at a desk with a camera on the desk, showing the audience like objects he likes.
It's
And it
it's
was
incredible.
riotously funny.
It's an HBO special. You can find it. It's so funny. He wrote the Papyrus one, which is just a sketch starring Ryan Gosling, where he gradually goes out of his mind because whoever did the graphic design for Avatar the film just used Papyrus font. There was no design. They just went
Right.
into Microsoft Word and chose Papyrus.
Oh my god.
But he also has this one. It's for Fisher Price's what is it, like wishing wells for sensitive boys?
That's such a good sketch. I didn't know that was him.
And it's just this, it's Emma Stone, and there's this little boy, and he just sits and he just looks into this well and he just thinks his thoughts.
Yeah. There's like other kids in the neighborhoods have like those like
They're throwing
blocky
balls
truck
and-
things they can
yeah.
write on. And I think the dad, I forget who the dad in the sketch is like, but he's kind of going, "Hey, should we get him?" It's like, no, let him have his well.
Yeah,
He's-
what one of the little boys comes up, he's like, I don't get it. And Emma Stone just gets right in his little like 8-year-old face and goes, not everything's for you. So yeah, losing Julio Torres was not Julian, it's Julio. It was, man, that dude wrote some beautiful original stuff, really special.
Yeah. Which I feel like SNL hasn't done great at of late, like original stuff. Like I feel like I mean, look, my ability to perceive SNL is horrifically tilted by the fact that I just see YouTube sketches that people are going, "This is really good, I've shared it." Like that's my filter for SNL, so I get a really skewed view of it. But it feels like there's been a lot less of that recently, and I feel like a lot of like, "Hey, here's a good buddy Elon Musk," or "Here's a hilarious take on Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's trial."
Yeah, a lot. I mean, and this goes for anyone that makes comedy. A lot of my favorite sketches aren't the ones that get shared.
Yeah.
They make great subtle stuff, and nobody gives a fuck. And you go,
Yeah.
but this stuff's beautiful. Like what Richard's talking about. These guys do not destroy. They're like the new Lonely Island on the show, where they're like just a group of guys that make pre-recorded stuff. So silly, so absurd, absolutely wonderful. Sarah Sherman's making great stuff. Her desk pieces are hilarious.
Great.
Excuse me, but
well, this is a real callback. Are you guys familiar with Jack Handy's stuff?
of course, I have
Because you work in comedy.
a book of Jack Handy's thoughts on
Really?
yeah.
Oh yeah. Was that the one you used to read
Yeah, let me grab it.
Yeah. It used to be a channel point redemption when we were across all 3 channels that Chris would just read out of Jack Handy's book.
Oh man.
And he had a library background.
I don't have a green screen, but I'm going to buy one, and we will be back to the library background for this next time. So here we go. Deep thoughts with Jack Handy. I bet the main reason the police keep people away from a plane crash is they don't want anyone walking in and lying down in the crash stuff. Then when somebody comes up, act like they just woke up and go, "What was that?"
It's so silly.
He wrote a line which I've long adored, which I'm gonna mangle the setup, but the gag is intact. And I think it was, people say, if you were to push all of the Great Lakes together, then they would form an area larger than the state of Texas. I say, why bother?
Is my all-time favorite is do you think we'd cut down trees if they could scream? Maybe if they screamed all the time for no reason.
Excellent.
You know he was Steve Martin's neighbor?
No.
That's where he got into comedy. It's in I read Born Standing Up a couple of years ago, which is how I got into Jack Handy.
I don't remember that part.
So when Steve Martin moved to maybe it wasn't LA, it was somewhere in California. He lived in like this little adobe house, and his next door neighbor was this weird dude called Jack Handy, and they would just sit and drink beers on the porch, and Steve Martin would dick around on the banjo, and Jack Handy would just say weird shit, and Steve Martin was like, "You should write comedy. This is very funny." And I think Steve Martin introduced him to somebody.
He's a genius. He's one of the all-time great SNL writers.
Yeah. Well, he started off
special.
There was do you remember back in like the 80s, 90s, there was a period of time where everyone had like zines, like just like photocopied little magazines on specific. And there was one called Army Man.
DIY zine culture was amazing.
Yeah. But Army Man was this like Bob Odenkirk, David Cross, Jack Handy, and a bunch of other like incredible comic talent, just like from around America and Canada were like drawn into contributing to this stupid magazine. It didn't run long because people in actual comedy people in comedy TV got wind of it and were like, "We're booking you."
Apparently, it's where The Simpsons came from.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
A lot of The Simpsons writers' room was found up through that.
Wow.
Yeah.
No. That's So I listened to there's a podcast, Dana Carvey and David Spade, where they just interview people from SNL over the years. Nice. And the number of times Jack Handy's come up where people are like, "Who are your favorite people to work with?" And everybody's just like, "Well, Jack Handy's a genius, obviously. You know, Jack Handy was incredible." It's just so silly, so delicate, so fun.
Well, genuinely, I think my favorite SNL sketch of all time is still Unfrozen Caveman Lawyer.
So stupid. We have
So
to
dumb.
we have to
I've
watch that.
actually seen that one.
Have you seen that one?
I played it.
I've seen that one.
Oh my God, Ashley.
We used to do these like 50-hour-long improv shows, and one of them was set in ancient Greece. And so we were all like picking who we're going to be. And my buddy Mark from Edmonton was over. He was going to be Hades. And I was like, I kind of want to dick around with Mark for a bit. I'll play, what's the fucking boatman called? Charon?
Oh, on the River Styx?
I know who you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
And I was like, I'll play that. But I didn't give any thought to this at all. And I'd arrived and we had like a bunch of like togas and like Greek costume, like armor and things. Like somebody had borrowed from the from 300 for the show. And so I was like in armor and I was like, I've given no thought to the characterization of this. And I was like, fuck it. I've got these fake glasses. I'm just going to play him as Phil Hartman. I just did the Unfrozen, like, my impression is not good. But like, my name is Charon. I'm a boatman, not literally half boat, half man, but that's not off the table. But I don't understand your land-based methods of travel. They confuse and disorientate me.
That's great.
I just did that bit for like 50 hours less going to Carrie Ann's wedding and then coming back.
Wow. That's brilliant. Yeah, no, I actually know that one. You were so proud of me for a brief moment there, Chris.
Genuinely taken
The chat
aback.
has clocked it.
Absolutely taken
Yeah.
aback. Shocked. Not appalled. Just shocked.
Just shocked.
I'm really excited. I think SNL is going to be very exciting next year because 4 of its biggest cast members have just left. Pete Davidson left, Kate McKinnon left, Edie Bryant left, and that little weedy guy whose name I always forget left.
Gollum?
Yeah, Gollum. Yeah, curly hair Gollum. Kyle Mooney. Thank you very much.
Kyle Mooney?
Yeah.
Rooney.
No, he got it the name wrong. It's Kyle Mooney.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rooney. Okay.
Kyle Mooney. Wait, was Kyle Mooney the guy? Was he in Picnic Face?
I don't think so. He played Norm Macdonald's nephew on the Norm show. He makes very silly stuff. I think he got picked up for like a sketch show and so decided to go and make his own thing. But yeah, so that's 4 like those people that have been around forever. Pete Davidson has shockingly been on there for 8 years. Kate McKinnon is gone and is fucking huge. And Edie Bryant as well. She's had that show Shrill that's gone on for 2 seasons that Lolly Adefope's in and is supposed to be fantastic. But a lot of stuff was written around those people. And so I'm excited to see it sort of like open up and see what they can do. The new guy that does the Trump impression and the Biden impression, he's like awesome. He's crazy talented. Sarah Sherman's really silly and original. I think there's very cool stuff.
Yeah, there's a bit of a vacuum there that'll suck in a load of new ideas.
Yeah, people are going to step up, which will be good.
I think a lot of the time, because like SNL's always, it's a sine wave of success. But I think a lot of the time, what heralds a good period in SNL content is the crutch gets kicked away.
Yeah,
like you lose some great people, and you can no longer just be like, the sketch isn't great, but like Sudeikis will make it sing.
Yeah.
Or like, well, yeah, it's not great writing, but Will Ferrell's gonna do it. It's not great writing, but Tina Fey's gonna do it.
Yeah, and like that was Kate McKinnon and Edie Bryant. They can just carry anything. They're so funny. And Kenan Thompson does that as well. I don't know if you've seen what the fuck is it? What's Up With That?
Yes.
One of the greatest sketches in SNL history.
I've only recently discovered it.
It's absolutely incredible, and all he does is just sing "What's Up With That" over and over and over again while he refuses to ask questions of his guests.
With not interviewing Lindsay Buckingham.
And Jason Sudeikis dances in a red Adidas tracksuit, looking like Daniel. What's his last name? The Australian comic.
Muggleton.
Pardon me.
Daniel Muggleton. Yeah.
Dan Muggleton.
He dresses exactly like Dan Muggleton. It's my assumption that Dan dresses like Sudeikis, but that's not the order we're going to deal with it.
And
that's my good friend Jason Sudeikis there, who I've met once.
I only realized today that Jason Sudeikis was married to Olivia Wilde, who's now going out with Harry Styles.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a wild train of people to me.
Yes.
Well, there's a lot that think that she's a beard. That's fairly common.
Okay.
So I think that the breakup with the Jason Sudeikis, from what I understand, was not very amicable. And so he needed a thing. She needed a thing. They're very famous. Let's put this out. From what I understand,
They have
I am
2 kids,
in
though.
no
They
way
do have 2 kids.
associated. Oh, Jason Sudeikis, not her and Harry Styles, though.
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I think Jason
Harry
Sudeikis straight as
Styles
an
can't
arrow.
read.
That dude boinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dating Keely something.
Yes.
One of the girls from Ted Lasso, the cast.
Oh,
One
right.
of the girls from that show.
Has anyone listened to Harry Styles' new album? Because I'm 38.
Oh my god, that
and
was the other thing I was going to say after I said I read a really good book. I was going to say, and I listened to Harry Styles' new album. I love it.
I love it. I love it. I've listened to it, so I keep waking up with songs from it in my head.
Cried at
don't know
Matilda
what
the
to
first time
do.
I heard it. I cried. I've never cried the first time I've heard a song before, and I cried at Matilda.
Which one's Matilda? I don't read. I just put it on and vibe.
Like halfway point, sort of sad one.
They're all sort of sad, Ashley.
They're all sort of sad. It's fair. You'll know it when
I'll know it for sure. I've listened to this album a bunch of times already, but
yeah. Matilda, I cried. Had I just been on the toilet. I mean, that has never not been the case this week, but yeah. I was driving when I put it on. I was going to collect fish and chips. And I was on my way back and I just started crying and I was just like, I better pull myself together before I get in the house.
It's very pretty. That the song music for a sushi restaurant.
Excellent.
I messaged Jordan
Very
Robinson Kramer.
specific.
I messaged Jordan Robinson Kramer about it because he's my music friend, and I was like, "Have you listened to this? Am I crazy or is this song fucking awesome?"
It's amazing.
And he listened to it. He's like, "Damn, that's very good." But it's very, I think so. Paul, I think the reason it's called music for a sushi restaurant is it's very reminiscent of like 70s Japanese pop music.
Right.
So it like fits in there. But holy fuck, it's good.
It's really good.
Honestly, don't know where this came from. I've been listening to a lot of pop music lately, where like I suddenly was like, well, I do this once every couple years, where I sort of dive into pop music and I'll be like, okay, well, what is it right now? Like, what are the sounds of it? And so like, someone played a Dua Lipa song at a party that I was bartending, and I was like, this song rules.
Yeah.
And so I listened to her and I was like, okay, Dua Lipa's awesome. First of all, congratulations, Dua Lipa. And then I put on some old Justin Timberlake, and then this Harry Styles thing came out, and I was like, fuck me, this is good. And I remember we were talking about his album before this a while back, and I was very judgmental of his album before this because I wanted him to release his brilliant album. He seemed like the kind of guy that was going to do that. And now he did it, and I'm very impressed with him.
Oh, I'm very impressed with him.
I am. Do you ever just see someone where you're like, I know that you're great, and I want you to do that great thing that you capable of?
Yeah.
And he did it, and I'm like, fucking way to go, dude.
I listened today while I was lying in bed, buckled over in pain. I listened to he did a variety interview, not a variety interview, that was something else I listened to. He did an Apple Music interview with Zane Lowe, is that his name?
Yep.
Yeah. So I listened to that interview. It's about an hour and a half long, maybe a bit less than that. But yeah, it was a really good interview, all just about the making of this album. And he actually made it nearly straight out the gate of making the last album, which is quite interesting because he had this album made before he actually got to tour the last album because of the pandemic. So he's been like waiting to put this out for a long time.
Actually, I'm going to pause you on that thought for a second. Paul, how's your Michael Caine impression?
Not good.
Okay.
And then I don't have one.
You're going to have to do it anyway because John's not here. And Gareth Waugh, friend of the show, Gareth Waugh, put in for the Michael Caine impression.
Do we have that as a redemption?
We still have that as a redemption.
I did not know we had that.
Normally, John has to talk like Michael Caine for about 30 seconds. So, Paul, you're our resident impressionist.
I gotta. That's not the case.
That's
but
100. You just did.
It's a by process of elimination. Like, because I can do a shitty Phil Hartman.
That's it. That was your big mistake. doing your Phil Hartman earlier in the show.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Let me just try and get a quick YouTube of Michael Caine to put his voice in my head. Oh no, this is a Photoshop tutorial. There's a couple of things real quick. Like one, I'm going to dump a link in the chat to an aggressively bad piece of music.
Okay.
That I kind of want. I don't know if this is funny, or not. It's just a bad piece of music that I stumbled into recently.
Well, I already hate that. It played for 2 seconds, and I hate that.
Oh, you've heard?
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Well,
terrible.
We're
not playing it because we'll get cancelled.
But here's what I think. I think it might be just short enough that it won't get picked up on anything.
Okay.
What's
the show gets pulled down, it's on you.
That is absolutely correct. We're about to find out what the rules are, Paul. But I think it's short enough that we're not going to get flagged on anything, unless one of these
11 seconds and under is fine.
There you
according
go.
to David Hoare.
There you go. We're good.
But this is
just
to be clear. That's like a 2-minute piece of music.
Yes,
Yes, but we're only listening to less than 11 seconds, and to
Okay.
be honest, it's enough to hate it.
and
Yeah.
also
Oh, it doesn't even kick off for the first like 30 seconds. But
look at this fucking idiot.
Look at his face.
How did you even
like, I
find
should point
this
out,
song?
this is not he didn't make this with the intention of it being good. He made this with the intention of it being aggressively bad sample music.
Okay, good. Okay, fair
Like,
enough. Oh,
this guy's a piss take artist.
okay, good. David loves him. If David and
Yeah.
Paul love him, all right, fair enough. We'll
Yeah.
give him a shot. Here we go. Oh,
I've never seen that pose before.
oh, that I hate that.
Desperado, rough rider, no, you don't want nada, nada. There's six gunning this, brother running this. Buffalo, 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 no. Any damsel that's in distress, be out of distress when she meet Jim dress.
Right.
Roughnecks, so go check the roughnecks, so go watch your step, reflex and get a hole in your dress. Swallow your buffalo, don't let
That
your
must
neck
be
breathe.
11
You don't wanna
seconds
see
by
my
now.
hand with my hand be-
But it's not 11 seconds of any one song.
Yeah, it's 11
Oh,
seconds,
it's-
small chunks of other songs.
Right. I
Yeah.
understand.
But yeah, it's there is a whole verse where the phrase there's a lyric in that song which is something about somebody getting bum rushed, and there's a whole verse which is just like him going, Will Smith having been recut to be like, "Have you seen my bum?" Like just over and over again in different ways by cutting up the lyrics of the Wild Wild West.
Wow. And a whole album of
So
he has
funny.
a whole album of all-star remixes with other songs called Mouth Sounds.
Yes.
Ooh, that's disgusting. Ooh, I hate
Yeah.
that. I'm gonna send it to Dylan Gott immediately.
I was introduced to that by from a guy, a published author called Nate Crowley, who is an absolute fucking legendary dude. Let me sell you on Nate Crowley.
Don't think you're getting out of this Michael Caine impression.
No,
by the
no,
way.
I'm aware. Let me try and sell you on Nate Crowley as Michael Caine. But he's nasal, right? I'm trying to think. Is Michael Caine sort of up in this neck of the woods? I think. I'm not sure if this is appropriate. This is the Michael Caine impression people do when they think they're doing Michael Caine, but it's just generic copy.
It's very Russell Brand, actually.
I don't like it. This is the thing. I'm really good at impressions, but not the one I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Like I tried to do George W. Bush, and it was a passable Owen Wilson. But where was I going to go with this? Oh yeah, so Nate Crowley, one is an author. His first book was called "The Sea Hates a Coward," and he got that book deal because he harassed about on Twitter for a whole year. His friend was complaining on Twitter that nobody had wished him happy birthday. So Nate wished him happy birthday multiple times a day for an entire calendar year in an
Nice.
escalating series of tweets that created the story of a dystopian future world where there is only birthdays.
That's quite
and
funny.
clowns people are press ganged into the clown mines to work for the Emperor Daniel to obtain diamonds for his birthdays and to give him jaguar blood, which he drinks to remain young. So it became this like sprawling Dune-esque fantasy land. And then at the end of this, one calendar year later, this is how I met my flatmate. Nate arranged a enormous birthday party at the Star of Kings with but like set in world. So like people turning up as like the clown secret police to celebrate Daniel's birthday.
That's amazing.
And yeah, but he writes like Games Workshop books now and a whole bunch of other stuff. But like he
Did you
came to
say
do questing
Gay
time.
Workshop books?
Games Workshop.
Games Workshop.
Games Workshop.
Yeah, I was just curious what a gay workshop was. That's all.
It's the same.
It's yeah, I
but-
want to say they're very close.
But he when he came to he played questing time and we were doing like a Halloween one, so everyone was playing the bad guys being monsters. And he's a big crab guy. And he loves crabs. He loves crustaceans. He loves sea creatures. He has, I think, between 10 and 40 pet crabs, lobsters, and other crustacea. And
Does he have
in
like
his-
a
in
big
his house.
tank?
he has many big tanks.
Oh my god, he's like Weebay.
Yeah, and he in two ways, and he
He also shoots people for Avon Barksdale.
You don't.
Dope.
But no, he went. He hid in the back of the Phoenix, and he grabbed Jess and was like, "Can you give me a hand with the thing?" And I was like, "I can help too." He was like, "No, it's a secret." And then he was playing. He'd asked if he could be a werecrab instead of a werewolf, and I was like, "Yeah, sure." And
I saw pictures from this.
He made like a sort of a cardboard box 70s Godzilla suit of a giant crab monster with like add-on bits for when he evolved. And then so for the second act,
amazing.
when he came back to the interval, he said, "You know, we come back to the interval. Can you play the riff from Iron Man by Sabbath?" And I was like, "No." Because our shows work, but we can sing it. And we did, and he just stomped his way through the auditorium.
So wait,
over
did you all
some
just go?
tables.
That's great. Great.
Yeah. Because it was a live show and that wasn't recorded, we could do it for longer than 11 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's a good guy. We once got hammered at a pub and wrote the bones of a video game, which was going to be a text-based sequel to Overwatch, the multiplayer shooter.
Amazing.
A text-based sequel.
Yep.
That's a brilliant idea. That's
It
so
was terrible.
funny.
It was a terrible idea, but it was very funny.
That's so
I have,
funny.
I wonder if I still got a list of characters somewhere. Did we put that in the Google Doc?
How
Oh
many?
my god, people would have
how
to try to
many-
play it.
How many games do you think you have designed at least the bones of, Paul?
Oh fuck, I don't know, like 5. I don't know. A bunch. Because there's games. There's games you've designed where it's like, I've written this system. Like I wrote a game early in the pandemic when I thought this will be easy. I'll write loads of content. But then I just was very sad for a long time.
Right?
That's every creative story of the pandemic. I
Yeah.
thought I was gonna use the time and write loads of content, and then I just got sad.
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually sent that email to people that I'd booked on things that I was making. They were like, "Hey, we still on for this Saturday?" And I was like, "No, very sad now. All things are canceled. Goodbye."
Yeah.
Myself and another comic, commissioned a handful of other comedians to write a book of short. We were going to release a book of comedian written short stories.
Mhm.
And we had names on board. Like
Yeah.
we had a decent crew of people on this, and we collectively, nobody ever chased it up. We just didn't do it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
just we're all sad.
Yeah, there was so many like, hey guys, we could do this thing, and we're all like, I love this idea. If we actually do it, we'll all die.
Yeah.
Like not physically, but like something we can't. We can't do it right now. Weirdly, a thing I've been doing is going through, in light of Netflix not existing anymore as a commercial entity, I've been going, hey, I'm going to write up all those treatments now for them because there's now nowhere to put them. I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely. Just wait for Paramount Plus to really come into its own.
Yeah, or World of Wonder, whatever Rue's new channel is.
Oh, here's a fun twist to my Paul. You probably don't know this, but I've been trying to make one particular comedy album since 2019. I've run into so many obstacles, a great deal of obstacles. Finally got it recorded.
What is the comedy album? Please tell me it's just a
stand-up album,
word, beat for beat remake of a Bill Hicks set.
That's
and one
it.
of the problems is it's not your material.
It's that, but it's in old English, and yeah, no. So I recorded 2 shows in March. It was March 19th. Went great. Album's almost ready. Right on the final thing. We got all the tracks cut. Had a talk with a guy from
I'm really sorry. I have to take myself off screen for a few minutes.
Godspeed, Ashley.
Okay, mute that mic.
Get ready for a Patreon episode, the likes of which you've never heard. Let's see what kind of team player Ashley is now. So it took me about 3 years to get this going. I ran into a bunch of different tragedies on the way. There was a death. There was an arrest. There was a plague, and then there were other things.
Yeah.
And this time, the whole online streaming is of comedy albums is basically being shut down on all sides because a record label has rightly asked that we get writing residuals as musicians do. So not just performance, but also writing. So you know how like I Will Always Love You, Whitney Houston gets paid, she sang it. Dolly Parton gets paid, she wrote it. With comedy and stand-up albums, no one gets the writing part. And so someone went to Spotify being like, hey, you should probably pay the writing part for this. And they went, hey, how about we just take all of the comedy albums off of Spotify and you go fuck yourself.
Yep.
And so just as I'm getting ready to release my first album, I talked to the guy on the record label and he's like, so we're in court right now. Could be about a year. Delighted. Can't remember what made me think of that. Just I think it's just right at the front of my mind because I'm annoyed.
Yeah, no, it's a legit thing to be annoyed about. Shit. Oh man, I'm really sorry. I don't like my pandemic equivalent was like I don't want to. Oh man, I don't think I should talk about specifics, but I had 3 shows in development when the plague started, and none of the producers work in the industry anymore. All the contacts have better jobs.
Fuck.
Yeah.
It's wild, right? How it can just change like that. I got a production company approached me about doing Versus the Audience as a TV show, and
which you should. It's a great concept.
I even told the guy in the meeting, I was like, what makes this show great is exactly what makes it unairable on television. And unless you have a fix for that, I don't know what to do. And he went, listen, I make reality shows about weddings all fucking day. I would much rather pitch a show that's hard that I love than just keep making this fucking dog shit. And I was like, dope. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Let's make something. And then he got moved on to another production company almost immediately. For some reason, my agent didn't find out about it and just kept telling me he was busy for about a year until I saw a friend of his at a party and he's like, you're the guy that my buddy was going to make that show with. And I was like, yeah, what the fuck happened to him? And he's like, oh, dude, he's making like documentaries now. He's long gone. It's like, this is...
Yeah. Well, speaking, here's my 10 cents on how I think you should make that show. Did you ever watch the Chris Gethard show?
What, the one with Collins?
No.
He had a few. The one on New York Public TV?
Yes. The one where like the audience is sat down cross-legged in front of him. There's a live band or the live band camera right.
A beautiful show. I'm gonna try to find a clip of that right now because that was such a
please, if you're gonna find a clip, I'm gonna sell the audience on watching it. Not right now because you're watching this show, but if you haven't watched the Chris Gethard show episode One Man's Trash, then it's important you watch that episode with no other knowledge of it save it's Chris Gethard trying to host a show despite his guests being Paul Scheer and Jason Mantzoukas, and the entire show is guess what's in this dumpster. That's it. Like the way it was shot was like it was shot live streaming as like a 3-hour shoot, and then it was cut down to an hour and then televised very quickly afterwards.
Incredible. I'm just gonna grab one randomly, and we're gonna skip to the middle of it just so I can show you guys sort of what it looks like. Cool. But this was New York Public Access.
David Hurley's like, dude, that show is amazing. Yeah, Seth Meyers was like, of One Man's Trash, that specific show is the best hour of television produced in North America this year.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm inclined to agree.
It's so, buddy, Richard, I would love for it to have a Tough Crowd vibe. Tough Crowd is so fun and so silly, and watching Greg Giraldo yell at David Leary, just spectacular. So Chris Gethard show.
Yeah.
Chris Gethard show. How can we help you tonight?
Yo. Hello.
Yeah. Who's this?
Hey, this is Jack. I'm calling. I have I guess one of my stream's cutting out, so I don't know if you're still there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Jack, perfectly. What's on your mind?
Oh, cool. What's the show owner's name again?
Drew. Yeah, Drew Johnston.
When he got shocked, Ustream went to an ad, man.
Wow, dude, that blows really bad. I'm sorry that happened. The best thing I can say is you might as well start saying who you want shocked now while you can see it.
I feel like this is a moral quandary because it's not like I want him to get shocked again, but it did go to an act.
Drew, you're gonna have to come back up here, man. And give
This is like
Jack what he wants.
I already
Let's
love
see.
this.
So Anthony, you and I both did it.
Yep.
So Drew, let's
All
face
right.
camera.
Face camera.
Right there. Boom. There. Now you got it. Now you got it figured out.
So, Paul, what part of this show is it that you see my show in?
There is the two elements of this. One, I think you should tape live to the internet.
Great.
Like absolutely unedited. There's more than 2 points, I realize. I'm going to get to them. But then cut it down because what you like, there are positions in your show, there are moments in your show where you are forced to take a.
She's back. We weren't expecting a return.
It was quick. It did evacuated very quickly.
Fire in
But
the
it
theater.
happened. Yeah, it did. But good news is that means, it's like, how it's like always worse until you actually throw up and then you actually just feel way better.
Yes,
I'm like,
absolutely.
good now.
Cleansed. Yeah. Good.
Yeah. The pain is subsided briefly, so I'll probably feel better until that starts to build up again.
How would you pronounce this? Because I don't think it's pronounceable as a word.
I don't think it is pronounceable.
Ashksit.
I don't know, but I would
It's
just say
David. It's a good written
shit.
joke that is unpronounceable.
It's an unpronounceable joke. It only works in text.
So you came in. We were just watching the Chris Gethard show.
Yeah,
Paul
what's-
is telling me how I can turn Chris Betts versus the Audience into a television show.
Yeah.
I
Here's what I think
see.
we can do is we can learn from the Chris Gethard show, by which I mean steal wholesale ideas from that
Mm.
to
I
to
only
get
just heard the
Chris
bit where
versus the
somebody
audience.
called in and complained that an ad came up because at the time that somebody was supposed to be in pain on the screen.
So that's all we saw too, because I just skipped to a random episode at a random moment, and
Get-
then we immediately watched the showrunner get tased. So that sounds like a pretty good show to me.
That's funny.
so because they shot live to air,
Mm.
but on the internet and then did an edited version for TV. So I think if you were able to do that, because a lot of the what's the word I would look for, debates, topics that come up,
Yep.
some of them would not be palatable for the television audience.
Very much
But the
so.
internet audience, if it's a full live show, you have enough time to onboard them and contextualize them.
Mhm.
And then for the TV broadcast, you have enough time to edit the potentially risky, like the riskier shit out, or edit it in such a way that it's much more palatable for a TV audience, or at least put fucking trigger warnings in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So you can either sanitize or lean into the skid as much as you like. But I think like that. I think there's your angle, because you keep the anarchic energy of it by doing it live to air.
Mm.
You build a separate audience up that way, and then you just harvest the best bits and hammer those into a TV mold.
Yeah.
Is my take.
That's not a bad idea. I was actually sort of planning on doing that, but in an album way, but without the sanitize. So I was just I was going to release go on like a little tour or do a run of them.
Yeah. Sanitize is the wrong word, but keep
pull out. But I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Pull out the. Please don't lean into the skid right now. Are we bringing back old bits? Because that's the Governor General. Good job.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and I was going to release the audio of it as Chris Betts versus the Audience, best of season 1, best of season 2. So they can release those. But
can I suggest
and
a
I'm gonna look into
terrible?
that.
I said a terrible idea for like a Patreon bonus.
Yes.
If you have audio of like a lot of your gigs, then Patreon listeners can download 2 audio files. One is Chris Betts does setups, and the other one is Chris Betts does punchlines, but they are not in sequence.
You just have to figure it out.
Yes, you have to listen to both, and then you have to re-edit You have to edit together two audio recordings.
That's so hard as well because like it's not like my jokes are set up punchline. They're like a few minutes long.
Exactly.
So I have to pull all the tags out.
I still remember. I'm certain you'll recall this because I assume it was traumatic for you. But I think the first time I saw you do stand up was in Leicester, and I almost choked on the front row. It was the first time I'd seen you do like a full hour.
Oh yeah, in the basement of that hotel.
Yeah, like we hung out before. I'd seen you do like bits at other gigs, and I cannot remember what it was that kicked me over the edge into that. But like, I just inhaled some drink and was like, "Oh, But I also it was made worse because it was like, I don't want to fuck this gig up by coughing real loud. I'm drowning. Like, politeness took over, and I was like, "Oh, I don't have a plan other than to not interfere with Chris's set." Like, no, I have to exhale water. I have to exhale Diet Coke now.
That's good.
dear.
I'm glad you lived. It was you. Tom Tuck came to that as well. That was very nice. I was very touched. Yeah,
he did and gave me like the shittiest advice on how to get home.
that sounds right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that coming from a man who slept on a couch for 10 years, supposedly.
Continues to sleep on a couch.
Continues to sleep on a couch, yeah.
David Hoare saying, call that album Chris Betts versus Structure. I love that. I love that.
That's a fun idea. You had to accept the self-waterboarding. Paul, are you going to the Fringe this year?
No.
Okay.
I was all in. I'd applied for 2 gigs. I was going to do my 3rd hour of stand-up and a full run of Questing Time stuff. But because the venues I'd applied for were honouring the requests of people who'd applied previous Fringes that had been cancelled, and they were doing that first, I'm like, that's super reasonable.
Yeah.
But it was getting real late in the day, and it was like on the day of the early bird deadline, the Pleasance got back to me and were like, "Hey, we can offer you." They offered me a really nice venue. It was like not the Jack Dome, the 10, one of the domes.
Okay.
Like 85, 88 seater. And I'd done the show there before. It's a good fit. And they were like that, like late in the evening, like probably last one in the stack, which is great for me because it's an improvised show and sometimes it runs a little long.
Yeah.
And I don't like running long for like 1 because the staff and 2 because it inconveniences everybody else after you in the stack.
Yeah, and it's a knock on for every show from them.
Yeah. And like I've run venues there and I know how shitty that is for everybody.
Yeah.
So I try to avoid doing that. But and I was like, cool, I'm not gonna make the early bird deadline because I'm right now at a Magic the Gathering publicity event writing an article for a friend of mine who can't get to London for this. Yes. And I met Ross Kemp. Who was there filming a Magic the Gathering video thing, which was like 2 brands I didn't see amalgamating. But
I just realized I don't know who Ross Kemp is because I was thinking of Rob Kemp.
Ross Kemp.
No. He's from EastEnders. He's the bald man from
Yeah.
EastEnders. One of the 2 bald.
Magic the Gathering and Ross Kemp is a bizarre mix. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. He was there like he was clearly like here to do a bit. And it was actually because the new set of Magic the Gathering is like crime families in a fantasy city, and so he was there filming a bit called Gangs of New Capenna. So he's like infiltrating the crime gangs of this fantasy thing. It's a really good PR bit, and he was fucking gung ho into it. But he was like, "Do I know you?" He was like, "I don't think so. Well, I really don't think you know me." I'd be amazed if you do. And he was like, "You're an actor." I was like, "Yeah." Oh, that's like, we don't need to explore this any further, but that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, how's it been the last couple of years? And I was like, fucking horrible. How have you found it? I was like, yeah, no acting work, but I make my money doing documentaries about crime and basically human misery. So I've been all right.
Yeah.
But we just had a chat. We just had a nice chat about like acting work and stuff. And then he was pulled away to go and film some nonsense. But a genuinely really nice bloke. But so anyway, so I was kind of going, well, I'm here. I can't do any of the paperwork. I'm missing the early bird deadline. And then I came back and did maths. And just worked out like, if I sell out, how much money do I lose? And the answer was some.
Yeah.
So I was like, I've got a day job at the minute, which I mean, the contract is It's a 3-month contract with the option to maybe extend it. And the plan at the time was probably to do that. The plan probably still is in some form. And I don't know. It's just I don't have time to get an hour ready. And also,
of course,
nothing's happened to me.
Yeah.
And all of my have you either of you guys seen me do an hour? Or any
I've never
stand-up
seen
for
you
that matter?
perform.
I've not done.
I've seen you do stand up.
I've never met you
yeah.
in person. Paul.
How was it? I know you haven't. We haven't met in person, but it feels like we have.
It feels like we
which I
have.
like.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah.
crazy. You guys would have so much fun. That'd be such a
know.
that'd be such a fun Edinburgh. I feel like you would both like be very silly
That's
and also
literally
complain
why I
in,
asked. I
a
was like,
really
"Do I
good
get to
time.
meet you?"
No. Well, depending on how things go, I might because my partner might be up there working with Katie Story.
Okay.
So if she's up there, I might come up and visit for a couple of days. But I also I fucking hate being at the Fringe if I haven't got a show. So
Really?
oh, genuinely,
I'm so
I've been up
looking
there.
forward to being there without the pressure of performing.
Yeah. No, it was I get why, but like I've been at the Fringe a lot and I've always had shit to do. Like I've either been running venues
Sure.
or producing shows or just being in shows. And it's weird. It feels really weird for me.
Yeah,
I did it one. Remember Beck Hill got married at the Gilded?
Yep.
I went up for the wedding, and I was there for like 3-4 days. I was staying at a buddy's house, like a little bit out of town, and I was like wandering through Edinburgh, like watching all my friends do the Edinburgh thing.
Yeah.
And I wasn't in that weird bubble. I was like just kind of there, and I was like, this feels really weird, and I don't like it. And the wedding was really cool. And who did I take to that? I got to hang out. Oh yeah, we'd never met prior to this, but like my guest, my +1 for the wedding was Erin McGaffey.
Do not know that
because
person.
Amazing.
Yeah, because we'd done a bunch of podcasts together, like down the line, and
Uh-huh.
had become pals.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, I'm in Edinburgh. You coming up?" I was like, "Yeah." Hey, you want to go to a wedding?
That's so fun. Erin is just we don't know each other. I just know I've seen her a lot. And the first time I ever saw her, she was doing a one-woman murder mystery play. And it was just fucking cool. She's just really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a cool date to have for a wedding.
Yeah. Oh, no, not a date. That was one of the nice
No,
things.
no,
of,
but like
you've just
platonic
got
date
divorced.
person
I've
that
just
came
come out
with
of a
you.
very long-term relationship. Let's be friends at a wedding.
Sure. Yes.
That was cool. Saw a lot of dicks
That's
that day.
cool.
A lot of dicks.
Yeah, Beck got married
Like
to a guy who was
whose?
a
I want
Scottish man.
names.
I don't know. All of the men bridesmaids.
Oh right. Okay.
Had kilts, but also because Beck got married at a theatre in a performance space, were on stage and sat down, and so I was sat next to Phil Nickel, and I was like, Phil Nickel was on my right, and Benny
So amped about these dicks right now. So
Yeah.
amped to hear about the bulge.
I don't know Benny's surname. Benny from The Axis of Awesome. I can't remember his surname. But we were all like sat down next to each other, and we'd all like I knew Phil, and I'd met Benny a few times, and we were like, "Hey, how you doing? How you doing?" Just a lot of penises, right? I'm like, yes, like a surprising number of penises, because all of the groomsmen just sat down, legs apart, and everybody on our side of the auditorium just got like a Care Bear stare of dicks.
Wow.
Wow, because I watched the live stream of it because I was in Canada. I missed that. Fringe.
Camera was too high.
Because
the camera was up in the tech booth, right?
Yeah.
That's
fair.
excellent. That's so. And
Yeah.
was there a moment where like they realized, or did you just have to?
Oh, they
sit
knew.
And
They were
stare?
they're Scotsmen. They
didn't
give
care.
no fucks.
No.
They
Yeah.
were Scotsmen on a stage in front of a predominantly English group of people.
Yeah. Get your dicks out for the lads, you know?
Yeah.
Speaking of penises, today I saw the penis of another friend of mine on television.
Your friend was on Naked Attraction?
No, my friend is Kevin from The Kids in the Hall. They've got a new series, and his dick is in episode 1.
No, I still haven't watched that. I have to watch it because their ratings are this weekend. If
I also saw that tweet today. Was it Scott's?
if you're thinking about watching The Kids in the Hall, watch it this
Watch
weekend.
it
Watch it
this weekend.
today. tomorrow because it's a long weekend. I don't know if it's a long weekend there. It's a long weekend here.
Just on your browser right now, The Kids in the Hall on Amazon. Start it playing, mute it, put it in a different window, come back to us.
Yeah, just Amazon Prime. It's Kids in the Hall. They're like classic comedy punks, but they're like old now. So I'm so curious because people are saying it's amazing, which I'm so relieved about because I really thought it was going to be bad.
I was worried about it.
I really came in cynically.
Yeah,
and
well,
they're like
you
heroes.
can't do anything else, right? Same. Like, I had a conversation with a guy once who was like, and I think this is true. The comedy you stayed up late to watch when you're a teenager is the thing that defines your comedic sensibility most heavily for the rest of your life. And the guy I was talking to was like, I used to stay up and watch Monty Python, although he said Python because American. And
yeah, we say things
like,
right. Don't worry about it.
That's he's like that's been the biggest driving force in how he thinks comedically. And I was like, oh fuck, mine was The Kids in the Hall.
Yeah.
I don't know what mine was.
And that's why you keep quitting comedy.
Probably.
Yeah, that's it. You didn't have.
What would you reckon the thing you maybe quoted most when you were a teen? Also, I said when you were a teen, that was like a week. 3 weeks ago. You're 12.
Excuse
You're
me.
very young.
I'm not that young. I got, well, the thing is, I got very into stand-up. I didn't really watch kind of TV shows that were funny that much.
Well, who would you say was your...
The first stand-up I got really, like, addicted to watching the DVD over and over and over again was Lee Evans. And I am not a Lee Evans inspired person. Like, everybody that I've ever said Lee Evans was the first stand-up I got into is like, really, I don't see that for you.
Yeah. But you watched it during the day. It was on demand. We're talking about staying up late. You go,
yeah.
I have to see this. I watched David Letterman count every single day that Oprah refused to be on his show. He would be like, we're in day 322 of Oprah not coming on my show. I don't know why she won't come.
This is an interesting thing because I think Chris has just hit the nail right in its stupid face. This might be an irrelevant question if when you were a kid, there was on-demand content.
Well, I was a kid in rural Ireland, and so there really wasn't.
Right. But if you watch yours on DVDs, it's not too far off. It's like a physical manifestation of on demand, right?
Yeah, but it's just like there wasn't really as much access to kind of late night shows in the same way. We just didn't really have that culture of it, you know. I guess like in terms of comedy writing and stuff like that, I've spoken about it on the show, but I recently rewatched Sabrina the Teenage Witch and was completely blown away with how much of it I remembered.
The original with Melissa Joan Hart?
The original Melissa Joan Hart. I rewatched the full thing, and that I really, really watched that a lot, it would seem, because I couldn't believe how much of it I remembered. And I was also quite surprised by how much of it was straight up comedy writing. You don't remember it in that kind of filter, but it really was quite funny. Yeah. And so that was really, really good. But yeah, I don't know.
It's funny going back and watching those old sitcoms and being like, this rules. Like, this is funny. Like, I've been watching Golden Girls. That shit is funny. Like, jokes.
Well, Mitch Hurwitz was on that.
Hilarious. Mitch Hurwitz, Arrested Development. Mitch Hurwitz.
Yeah.
No shit.
He cut his teeth on the Golden Girls. That was his first proper like regular writing gig.
Dude, that show's so fucking funny. And like going just almost every one that I've gone back and watched, I've been like, oh, this is great. And then I watched things like I hated How I Met Your Mother. But you know what I hated more? How I Met Your Father.
Did you recently watch that?
I tried because it was on. And I was like, well, let's see what they did. Like I listened to interviews with a couple people that were involved in the making of it, and they weren't totally sold on it. So that might have tainted my view of it. But I watched first 10 minutes and I was like, oh, this is a sitcom that's like a a joke of what a bad sitcom is. Like this is the kind of writing that my friends use to make fun of bad writing.
That's so disappointing for Hillary Duff.
Yeah,
But
it'll probably be a
here's the
huge
issue.
success.
Yeah, here's my issue with that is I've done that in shows where I've been like, oh, I'm going to do a bit from a bad sitcom I'm going to imagine. And I do like the worst sitcom bit I can imagine. And someone's like, oh, are you a fan of Big Bang Theory? And I'm like, why? I accurately quoted it?
Yeah.
Oh no. I was attempting to satirize a thing. And it turns out what I think is dog shit is the most commercially successful enterprise of all time. Why am I unemployable?
Absolutely. 100%.
I wanted to circle back to a thing because we're talking about the kids. We're talking about a few different bits and bobs. And I recently saw, is it Caroline Rhea?
Oh,
Caroline Ray, yeah.
She tweeted me and it was the best day ever.
Have you guys watched Last One Laughing Canada?
Oh, is that the show where they're all in a room? It's Jay Baruchel, Mae Martin, Tom Green.
So Jay Baruchel is hosting.
That's
but
right.
It's Tom Green. It's Dave fucking Foley.
Yeah.
It's Colin Mockery.
Yeah.
It's Mae Martin, Caroline Rhea, Jean Lajoie.
Oh yeah.
A mountain man of comedy. I forget his actual name.
Oh,
Andrew Fung.
Is that K. Trevor Wilson?
Yes. Who is great.
Buddy, that dude
Deborah
is an incredible
something.
stand-up.
Deborah something who's like an improv.
Deborah
She's like an
Tijani.
inside comic. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Another great one.
there's a gay guy. I can't remember his name. He's got really cool hair and he's really funny. And I've lost his name because the only bit I can think right now is, they have a live band. And the live band plays some. There's got a little stage set up there, and Tom Green does a bombing comic routine bit. And the rules are: it's like 10 comics locked in a room for 6 hours. The last one of them who laughs wins $100,000 for their charity. And you're not allowed to smile.
In the chat.
You're not allowed to laugh. Why are we guessing? You're on the fucking internet. Look it up.
No, it's Jimmy the Janitor. Excellent guess. Glenn Foster. Superb guess. These are all inside stream jokes. Don't worry. These guys are terrible.
Like, I just want someone to guess Russell Peters, but that is not the case.
So there.
What was his thing? Looks like somebody's going to get.
Somebody going to get hurt real
It's
bad.
Brandon Ash Mohammed.
So here's what's terrible about the Canadian scene is as soon as you said gay, I was like, oh, he started after I left.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, so here's my bit. One, there's an original Japanese version. There is a very good Australian version with like fucking Sam Simmons and a bunch of other folks in there.
Oh wow, that sounds real good.
But like, but the Canadian, my favorite bit in the Canadian one is Tom Green's done a bombing comic routine.
Keeping him out of the comedy industry, Dave. That's all. Just...
where was I going?
Sorry,
they're not
we were
allowed to
talking
laugh
about
or
this
smile.
show. Yes.
No, I just lost my train of thought there for a second. Because they're not laugh or smile. It's like it's like every time you've performed in front of other comedians, where the bit does well with the audience and the comedians are in the back going, "That's funny." Whereas, but like what's actually happening is it's comedians hitting other comedians with comedy. So it's like when the bit doesn't play with the audience, but the comedians crack up at the back because they get the joke behind the joke. Like, because you can rarely get both.
Well,
I find you rarely get both laughs.
That makes it sound like it's a terrible TV show. Like it's just
No,
comedians
it's incredible.
making comedians
It's
laugh.
incredible.
And
It's
everyone being like,
it's
"I don't
comedians.
get it."
It's comedians going as far as they can to get the laugh. But there's this wonderful bit. I don't think I'm spoiling anything because it's like episode 1. No one's knocked out at this point. Where Tom Green's done this bombing comic routine and leaves the stage. And the band plays him off stage. And as the music ends, Andrew Fung just bursts out of the dressing room with a saxophone. I was like, just screams, "Let's do this!" and proceeds to play the saxophone aggressively, enthusiastically, with no training.
Yeah.
But and it's just he's committing to the bit. His character is an incredible saxophonist, and he's never picked one up before. And he just goes too far with the bit, and also is like wild, like he's here with the saxophone mouth in front of Colin Mockery. Colin Mockery's like
well, that sounds like it would be worth watching. I'm not sure if I can in.
I think
It is
so.
on
It's all on Prime. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh,
I'm looking
yeah,
at
okay.
Australia's there.
Here is my question for y'all,
Yo.
which is I don't think this is ever going to happen because we never have nice things. Last one laughing. 10 comedians, a broad spectrum of the comedy industry. With the rule, no cunts.
Yeah.
Cast the British one. You got 10 picks.
And they have to be relatively big because it's still a TV show.
It's still a TV show.
Yeah.
But
People have to
you
watch
can
it.
have a couple of people who are like, you can get people who are like big on the live circuit who haven't done TV,
Yeah.
but you've got to pay for that with some big fucking TV names.
Nick Helm.
Yeah, great choice.
By
the way, the no cunts allowed is what I for years referred to as the McNeil doctrine. Because it was Steve McNeil's rule for casting Go 8-Bit when we were a live show.
Oh, nice. That's great.
Yeah, no cunts allowed. Which meant we were never allowed to book Jeff Leach.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my favorite meltdown, my favorite Edinburgh meltdown of all time.
We're coming back to that.
Remarkable.
Putting a pin.
Spectacular. Beck Hill's a good shout. You have to have Mark
Bob
Silcock.
You have to have Bob Mortimer.
Crushing it.
You have to have Bob Mortimer.
Oh yeah, Bob Mortimer's great. I don't think I agree with Sarah Pascal.
I would love to see Alison Spittle amongst these names, as in like.
I was going to pitch.
I think she'd be really fun to watch on a show like that.
I was going to pitch Alison Thea Scott.
Yeah, I could see her doing it. I could see Carrie Ad crushing it. Rachel Paris.
New host of the Match Report.
Paris is fun.
Yeah, congratulations, Rachel Paris. That's awesome.
Yeah,
very fucking
big day
cool.
for RP.
Acaster would have to be on it.
Yeah.
So how many is that? So we have Nick Helm.
Yeah.
Bob Mortimer.
Mm-hmm.
Acaster. I think Beck Hill. Fun, playful stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then one, Allison. We'll go with Allison Thea Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that's 5, was it?
Yeah.
How many
do
get?
we need? 8.
10.
10.
Yeah.
Rosemary
you know what? 10 plus a host.
Also host.
Oh, a host.
Yeah.
What's
the Baldy's right.
role?
Beck would laugh.
I don't
immediately. Oh, so the host is a presenting to us, but also the host is the face of the organization. So there's cameras on everything, on every angle.
Mm-hmm.
So the host will like interrupt, like ring through, and change the rules, dictate other stuff. Be like, you get a yellow card because, as Jay Baruchel says, because the system here is based on Canada's fucking favorite pastime, fucking soccer, for some bullshit reason.
Weird.
Yeah.
Ed Gamble could be a fun host.
I was thinking, who?
I'm just picked. That's just from the chat.
Mo Gilligan or
Mo Gilligan is fun.
I think Mo Gilligan would be a good time. Adam Rowe,
I don't know.
probably.
Like, yeah, I think so. I also like Jukebox. Sophie. I think Sophie Duker would
Duker,
be
yeah,
great in this scenario.
Yes.
Who else?
Did you know that Mo Gilligan is like mega famous? Oh, Darren Harriot's a great shout, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Bloom.
Kind of.
Let's ruin everyone's day and put Adam Bloom in this fucking house. Adam makes me. Adam is the most non-stop joke writer on the comedy scene. And will spend the whole show, and this is why I want him in there. Every time someone does something funny, Adam will just tag it for the rest of the show. He won't be able to stop him, and he'll be like, you did that saxophone bit? That was really funny, but what you should have done is maybe try it like this, and the next time you do it, it's like this. So it's him just giving notes for the whole goddamn 6 hours.
That's a fun bit. Like I'd have Adam in as like fucking Lou Sanders.
Oh, Lou Sanders could do it.
Yeah. But like Adam, I'd have him like as pro commentary. So he's like, someone does a really good bit, he just cuts around with like, that was great, but here's how they could top it.
Yeah.
Because if he's in the room, someone will just kill him.
For sure. Just
so fucking funny. Nish, right? Nish would go one of two ways. Nish would either be ice cold or would be out in the first 10 fucking seconds.
10 seconds, he's gone. There's no way. Nish's big laugher. There's no chance. Not an actor. Ooh, Johnny Vegas is a great shout.
Johnny Vegas would be fun.
Yeah. But no, here's the thing. Nish would laugh in 10 seconds or would never laugh the whole time. Like, I've worked with Nish a bunch, and I think he's either like, it really depends on his day. Like, if it's fucking focus comedy time.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's like straight edge, but his performance Nish is very giggly.
Yeah. Well, he's also got like a lot of friends in this room already.
Yeah. But that's part of it. That's one of the nice things about particularly the
I think
Canadian
watching
show is,
friends
it's a lot of people
work
who,
together like that is fun.
They're buddies. So they already know each other's little, like, I know how to fucking get you. Like,
there's a bit, there's like a cutaway bit where I think is it Tom Green? I think it's Tom Green.
Tom Green.
No, it's John LaJoie is talking about Kay Trevor, who's like, yeah, he like fucking this is too easy. It's got to do poop stuff. It's got to do poop jokes. and like it's that heralds him doing like 10 minutes of solid I shat myself bits at Kay Trevor. But the other thing that's fun to watch is like some of the comics just blow themselves up by having a funny idea and going,
yeah.
That's how I would go. I always laugh when I have a silly thought. To the point where it's like, it was okay when like I lived with Sadaf because she knew it, and so she'd hear it in the other room and be like, "Oh, he just thought of something. That's fine." But I live with strangers now, and so I sound like an insane person because I'll be walking around and be like, "Ha, ha, 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 ha. That's funny." Out of complete silence, living my life. Boom. I'm gonna.
I kind of do that too. To be honest, I laugh at myself, or not at myself, at things I think of. All the time, like to the point where I'm inconsolable sometimes, and there's just no
inconsolable.
There's no visible cause for it, so I look completely insane. I like in terms of those people. Then, if we were kind of putting on a few people that know how to rile each other up, I think Rosie Jones would sit well on that panel.
Oh, Rosie Jones was
great
show.
She the amount of shit I see her riling up Nish with.
That recurring bit of her pretending that Nish knocked her over is so funny.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
Yeah.
I also very much like that as Rosie's what's the word I'm looking for? Fame, I guess, increases.
I was just thinking this, Richard.
Oh, do you know what? I moved. I'm in a new house since we last did this.
Yes.
Like,
you moved. Good.
My flatmate's knitting stuff. Genuinely, I gotta talk to you about my landlord tried to keep shitloads of my deposit, and we had a whole fucking protracted legal argument.
I was really hoping you were going to say your landlord tried to kiss you.
No, I would not have been into that. She was not attractive.
But would you have taken it over losing your deposit?
Yeah, you have a choice, Paul.
No.
Either just a
Okay, the landlord or lose your deposit. Choose.
Or not even lose it, but it's just a hassle. It's just a real.
Yeah, actually, you still get the deposit back. It's just the hassle.
the thing I was going to say was, so like my flatmate and I loaded up the van to bring like half of our stuff to the new place, and then having loaded the van, then tested positive for COVID.
Wow.
And it was like, well, okay, so no one gets to help me move. And I just brought the stuff to the new flat, unloaded it, took the van back, and then like just Christmas happened, and I just stayed in my house for 2 weeks.
Days.
And then we loaded up the rest of the stuff because we'd left a bunch of the stuff in the house because we were pretty confident we weren't going to move in immediately, and COVID made that a fucking certainty. But we're loading the second load of van stuff in the van, and Tim walks past, and I was like, "Hey Tim, what's up?" And he's like, "Oh, Paul, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." And it turns out for a year and a half, I've lived around the corner from Tim Renkow, but because of COVID, we never ran into each other. We didn't see each other at gigs or anything. Like, we just had no idea we lived that close.
Oh my god!
Genuinely irritated by that fact.
Man, I'd be so annoyed. Yeah, we had to get
story to bring up. Baldy has just come in with, my work colleague had a landlady get in his bed after she had shat herself. He was asleep in said bed. That's wild behavior.
That one I'd take the hassle. I'd take the hassle over
I
that
would
for
take the
sure.
hassle
Yeah.
for sure.
Did I tell you about my old landlord? So I used to have a landlord that was a crackhead, just like a self-avowed source on the face crackhead, and super nice guy. But one time, so there were 2 apartments in this building, and I had one of them, and there was one next to it, and the guy next to it happened like totally randomly. I didn't know he was going to be living there. Happened to work in the kitchen at the bar that I worked at, so we sort of knew each other, and so I came home one day, and he was just leaving his apartment, and he had this look on his face. I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Our fucking landlord." He says, "I walk into my house, the window's smashed, clearly from the outside, and the landlord's in my fucking apartment. And I walk in, and the landlord goes, 'Oh, hi. I'm here to fix your window.'"
Oh, no.
Wait, would he not have had a key?
Maybe he pawned.
Like, that's
I
not
don't
the
know.
issue here.
He was a crackhead. He was
Yeah.
not in the frame of mind to be using keys to get into places.
Also, not an easy building to climb. He must have been very high. Must have
Jesus.
been very high. We were only on the 2nd floor, but it's not like there was a lot of handholds.
Yeah. Oh, I got it.
What a hilarious! And the guy just went, "No, you're not. It clearly broke from the outside. I know you didn't use the door. You smashed the window and came in here to rob me." And the landlord went, "Ah."
Oh my days.
And so the guy just kicked him out, and that was a wrap. And he lived there for like another year because it was so cheap. Because our landlord was a
Oh.
crackhead. It was so cheap.
Yeah. That's mad behavior. I've had 2 very lovely landlords in Scotland, but I've of course just sacrificed my reference from one of them because my flatmate was such a psychopath.
Oh, really?
Oh, is this
Yeah.
information that's
Oh,
been already
like
had, or
I
is
have left. I got out of there in such a way that I've fully sacrificed getting a reference from the landlord, even though the landlord had no issue with me.
Did you call the landlord and explain that there were issues with the tenant? Because that is something that landlords understand because they think that all tenants are lunatics anyway.
Yeah, he's gotten a pretty decent explanation from me, but I've sacrificed the reference. I thankfully don't need one for the next flat I have lined up, so it's fine.
Also,
but
is there an easier reference to fake? Is there a single
no.
easier reference than
There really
former
isn't.
landlords?
Well, in
Yeah,
Scotland, you
this-
have to have the registration number. You have to have a registered landowner or landlord.
Oh, you have a license to do it?
You have to have a licensed number to do.
Oh, that's
to,
great.
To provide a reference.
We're trying to
so-
talk about that in Canada.
Yeah. So it's
figure
like
that out.
Scotland does not dick about when it comes to this stuff, like deposits and everything. It's really, really ship-shape stuff. But I'm okay. I'm fine. But yeah. Crazy bitch. So
I had questions to ask about that, but I will save that for post stream.
It was.
I
it,
don't mind talking about it.
it was great while it was
Let's-
happening live because Ashley wouldn't talk about it on stream.
Yeah,
partly
because I was
the
in the
woman
apartment and
could
she
hear
could
through the
apparently hear
wall.
me. Yeah.
But every now and then we just get shit in the private chat, just being like, "This motherfucker." It's
Yeah. She had a problem with every sound I made, every move I made in the
Like a
apartment.
reverse sting.
Like I could do nothing right. I was criticized over everything. I just understood that.
There you go.
Like a reverse thing. I just got it. Because I kind of went, yeah, but I didn't register what you'd actually said. Yeah, it was dreadful. What, you had questions though?
Well, I guess like what was the nature of the dreadfulness?
Just
Was
nitpicked
the-
at me, fully bullied me into submission. Like I just my toothbrush was too loud. She really had a problem with
Very
this show
specific.
right here. Really had a problem with me doing this show, which I'm sorry is just the equivalent of me talking on the phone in my room, which
Yes.
I think you should be allowed to do. I'm not especially loud when I do it. And she really had an issue with that. And then she just started making up literally full-blown lying to me about what I was doing. Like,
wow, that takes so much balls.
oh
It's also
god,
like easily
had
disprovable because you know.
I know
That's how-
the truth, but
that's how
she was
gaslighting works. That's how
she was
gaslighting works, Paul.
delusional. She was fully trying to
Yeah.
gaslight me, but I also think she was gaslighting herself. I think she was genuinely delusional. And then when I left, there was a whole kind of email that went to the landlord copying me in. I left and immediately blocked her on everything. I also left a day before I told her I was going to, so that she couldn't like try and catch me out the night before or something.
Damn.
And so there was a big email sent to the landlord with me copied in, and she'd gone into the room and taken pictures of loads of shit that was wrong with the room, loads of like little marks on the walls and stuff, all of which was there when I moved in. So he knows that it was there. So at this point, she's just insulting the flat that he's given over. Like, it's a beautiful flat. It could have done with a lick of paint is all. There was quite a few marks on the walls for whatever reason. But that was kind of the only issue with it. And she just had this whole email that was like the state that she's left it in. The new person moving in is really disgusted by it all. And I'm just like, I've left that place fucking cleaner than when I moved in, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, there was one mark on the door that was from me, and it was from her making me put soundproofing in because of this show. Like, absolutely ridiculous. Carry on. She tried to get the new tenant to move in nearly a week before I'd moved out, and she couldn't understand why I had a problem with that happening. And then when it came to like me moving out, she's like, you haven't cleaned the communal areas and stuff. And I'm like, but you don't see the issue with having somebody move in on top of me trying to make the place clean for your deposit and stuff. Like, what? It was just really strange. The worst part coming up to when I was leaving was she had left. I came back from Ireland for the last 2 weeks before I left the apartment. So I was just there for 2 more weeks. And I came home at like 2 a.m. and walked into the kitchen to get a glass of water before I went to bed. There was a note on the table on the countertop that was a little to-do list.
Oh yeah, you sent us this.
A little to-do list that was she had 2 things marked with her own name, one of which was to clean the microwave stain. Firstly, her microwave, her stain. I'd say I used the microwave twice ever.
That's a new saying. No more, not my circus, not my monkey. Now it's not my microwave, not my stain.
Not my stain.
And the other thing was for her to take down the rubbish, which I had I moved all of my shit out of the apartment before I went back to Ireland. I went back for 2 weeks in a bare apartment. all the rubbish had been taken out. So that rubbish was all of just whatever she had accumulated in the 3 weeks that I hadn't been there. So they are not communal tasks, right? But the one item on the list for me to do was clean the oven. And she had even gotten oven cleaner and put it underneath the list. And it was not the kind of efficient oven cleaning thing that I was going to use. I had full intentions of cleaning the oven before I left, by the way, because it was something that the landlord had mentioned. And I was just going to get one of those ones where you like put in the oven, it cooks thing, and that all cleans it, you know? But she had the one where you basically elbow grease scrub out the oven. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm not using this shit. But it got to the point where I made a prediction at that point, by the way. I sent a message to my friend. I was like, I guarantee if I leave this note here, she's gonna tick off her items on it. And she did do that. And she also added "and the fridge" for me.
Oh, nice.
Oh my god.
I had a great
It was just so passive aggressive and bullshitty.
So what
That's my rant over.
when I moved into this place, the way that my new housemates and I bonded is that the person that I've taken over the room for was an insane person.
Uh-huh.
And I had lived with an insane person, not Sadaf, but one of our housemates, who was a fucking nightmare. And so immediately we just sat down and they were like, so the last tenant used to do this. And I was like, oh, my old housemate used to do that. And then she'd do this. And they'd be like, fuck. And so we just sat and talked about the crazy people that we'd lived with. And immediately was like, all right, we hate the same things about people. We're going to be just fine.
That's nice. Yeah. She was just, it was, to be honest, all of that doesn't sound like, it sounds kind of shit, but the actual attitude that came with it, which I can't really describe, is another thing altogether. Like,
it's like a poison in the air.
I stopped cooking for 6 months. Like, I was afraid to go into my kitchen.
Jesus.
That's how bad this was. So I really, really I have never been so completely disgusted by another human being's behavior. And I've been treated bad by a lot of people, so that says something.
That's true. As everyone on this podcast can attest, Ashley has been treated poorly by a number of people.
I have been treated badly by a lot of people.
Yeah, it's John and I. It's John and I that we're talking about. We treat
When is John back?
Yeah.
I put out a wee kind of tweet and Instagram thing of looking for, I'm gonna tech for people's shows for the Fringe, and I put in a wee little nod to somebody that I refuse to work with. So I'm not gonna say what it is, but basically what I did was
private chat.
Where are you? Is this the original tweet that you did, or is this a new one?
Yeah, actually, don't look at the chat, Chris. See if you can find it.
This
and
is
see
your
if you
pinned
can
tweet?
pick up the thing.
Do you need a tech for Fringe show? DM's open. Let's discuss your tech needs and my needs for an income this August. Send me your show deeds or tell your friends that you that might need a tech. Second tweet. This will be subject to availability and whether or not you're a cunt. Last part, drawing on past experience, of course. And then that's a picture of like a stag.
Yeah.
Is that a stag emoji?
So don't get too much into this. I don't really want to. I don't really want it to be too guessable either, I suppose. But yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, you'll understand the reference.
That's right. Gotcha. I couldn't.
So I was just that was fun.
I told you when you told that story, Diamond Geezer guessed who you were talking about, right?
Yeah, because
That was
she
so funny. She messaged me on WhatsApp.
That.
Oh shit.
Yeah. On Twitter, I think.
Okay.
Oh, Paul, yes. Big old terrible person.
Okay.
As in fully blacklisted. We have a story. Kimmers has come in. Last flat share I was in had a lovely cream wool carpet that was brand new when we moved in.
Yeah.
That's bold. To put
Sorry,
in
I'm trying to do a Beastie Boys thing where I come in on the last one.
Yeah, you're like a hype man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're on a teeny weeny tiny delay.
I just for a second imagine the Beastie Boys over Zoom where the timings are slightly off. I now want to do that again. I'm sorry, please continue.
But my flatmate had a love of having parties during the week and drinking Iron Brew and vodka. She kept spilling it. I kept cleaning it, and that carpet was clean when I left. But she tried to get me to pay the other half of the £250 bill to have the carpet in one small section replaced because she had spilled Iron Brew and not cleaned it properly before the landlord inspection. Fuck. Wild.
People are jerks.
My landlady, when we moved out, we moved out in January.
Mm.
And like I had some surgery in February, I think, and so it was like the recovery. No, late February I had the surgery.
You had to make your dick smaller.
Yeah, have we talked about that on stream?
Yeah, your dick was too fat. Your hog was too fat, so you had to thin it. You had to thin it out. You had to defat that hog. I get it.
But the correct term was I had some precancerous tissue on my actual penis.
No,
so I had to have penis surgery.
You defatted that hog. Oh my
Yes.
god.
Oh, my favorite
Chris
bit
was
about this.
totally joking about
Yeah.
No, that's why I was like, that's weirdly prescient, Chris. Have we talked about this? No, because I made there's a point. There's a point. There is a point, I assume, where someone is like, your doctor's like, we have to operate on your penis. Where as a comedian, you kind of go, well, I'm either never going to talk about this or it's going to form the backbone of an Edinburgh set.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, cool, I'm just going to talk about it. I'm not going to be embarrassed about it.
Yeah.
So I basically had to have a small bit of tissue removed from my junk. And now we're like, I don't have a frenulum. It's how that works.
Okay.
But not to brag, I had to have 3 anesthetic injections directly into my penis.
Because it's so fat.
I don't like to brag, but the weirdest thing was, so like any operation, there's the surgeon, there's the consultant, and there's like a guy there who just chats to you because they don't put you out for this, which I'm fine.
Uh-huh.
I was like, I prefer to be. I don't love general anesthetics,
they do fuck you up a bit.
Yeah, like I've never had a good experience for the 3 days after a general, but they were like, okay, so we now have to, like, this is the least fun part. And I was like, there are fun parts to dick surgery? And he's like, yeah, well, I just have to inject you. And I was like, just to be clear, you're going to inject me in the penis? And he's like, yes. And I was like, oh, I was ready for this to be painful, but I am honestly quite surprised how painful this. I really would have preferred to have not seen the size of that needle, just for future reference. Just for future reference, you don't have to show me that. And then he was like, I think we're gonna have to do a second injection. I was like, sure, of course you are. And then he does this, and he's like, he looked at me and went, you realize most people don't talk during this? And I was like, do you need me to be quiet? He's like, no. It was like, people pass out during this. And I was like, oh. And so he's like,
look
do
at
you have a high
humble
pain?
bragging.
Well, no, so
Humble
he's like,
bragging.
I was like, oh, that's apparently not how I deal with trauma. And he then said, he then says, can you feel this? And I was like, I absolutely can feel you are moving my genitals around. It's like,
oh my god,
I'm so sorry. I think we're going to have to give you a third injection. And I went, Jesus Christ.
Like a fucking Viennetta, that thing. Jesus.
And he was like, I said, Jesus Christ, do you do this full time? And he turned and went, oh, you're a comedian, are you? And the consultant went, yes, he is. And then at the exact same time, he put the third needle into my penis, which was for some reason the most painful one.
Mm-hmm.
He turned to me and went, oh, do you know Ramesh Ranganathan? And that set the tone for the dick surgery times, was him and the rest of the surgical team just listing comics. I go, do you know this person? I mean, yes. Do you know this person? Are they nice? Me going, I do know them. Yes, they are.
That's so funny.
And they were like, oh, what's Sarah Pascoe like? Well, oh, she's nice. She's really nice. Oh, she just had a kid. Like, she had a kid yesterday. Oh, I must call her when I'm done.
You did the opposite of that.
But the weirdest thing was so surgery happened. It was like, get the grand scheme of things, relatively quick. It was like 20 minutes.
Pre-cancerous is a nice.
Yeah.
You know,
well, so the situation,
nice
like I had a lump, and the examination was like the doctor was like, well, it's one of 3 things. It's either it might be penis cancer, or, and I'm sure he continued to talk. There were a bunch more tests, and they were like, okay, it isn't penis cancer. I forget what it was now. It was a particular type of cell where they're like, it's a benign tissue, but statistically, this turning into cancer is way the fuck more likely than regular penis tissue. Yeah. And I was like, okay. And they were like, what do you want? You're like, we can just do an operation now to get this removed, or we can do it in a couple of years. And I was like, get this the fuck out of me.
Yeah. Why wait? What do you
then COVID, and then like, but this happened. The you might have penis cancer conversation happened 4 months into COVID, which was like the worst time to get that excited.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah. So anyway, you go into the recovery room, and I was having a chat with a nurse, and she was saying, she's like, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" I was like, "It's not really clear. I used to act and do comedy. I don't know what the fuck I do now." And then she said, I said, "How long? What's the situation with like? How long do I have to stay here? Do I like somebody brought me to the hospital for the operation? Like, is that still part of the thing, or do I just make my own way home? What's the rules?" Everyone's been really clear about everything else except for this bit.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh yeah, well, we usually expect you to be here for like half an hour to 90 minutes. It depends. We have to see you eat, we have to see you drink, and we have to know that you've been able to pass urine." And I was like, happy to eat, happy to drink. I went before the surgery because I thought that would be a better idea than, walking in there with a loaded bladder in case when I have no sensations, I accidentally start pissing all over the place. And she was like, she said, "Yes, that is a good idea. And I wish more people thought like that, but we still need you to have a go." And so I was like, "Sure, I'll see what I can do. Like, do you need a sample, or do you just need to know that I've passed urine?" She's like, "We just need to know that you can pee and there's no blood in it." I was like, "It's 100%. I've done that most of my life." And
most.
Yeah. And at school once I got hit really hard in the bollocks with a football, and there was a very terrifying urination. But where was I? But so I did. I went to the bathroom, and it wasn't like I was being supervised, but I had the you know the old gag of like, if you lie on your hand until it goes numb and then masturbate, it's like a stranger's doing it. Well, I've experienced the inverse of that, where my hand has complete sensation. It very much felt like I was urinating with somebody else's penis.
That's excellent.
Yeah,
that
and
is
then
definitely going to be a bit, man.
Oh, 100%. But the other thing was I got a cab home. So because because this was all triggered during COVID, the hospital I went to is fucking way south of London, which would have been great if I'd still lived in Clapham. I live in North London now, so it was like a 2-hour drive. And all the way back, I was like, there were two main thoughts. One was, boy, I hope I make it home before the pain meds wear off.
Yes.
And two, because speed bumps. And two, which the other one I had was like, am I urinating? and how would I know?
Yeah,
I think I'm not, but the only way I would realize would be if I suddenly realized my butt was wet.
Yeah,
that's the only trigger warning I have for if I'm pissing right now. The only mechanism available to notify me is that it's way too late for me to not pay for this guy's car to be cleaned.
Yeah, I've experienced.
Which was a weird thing. It was a weird thing to have to introduce to a driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic improv teacher Diamond Geezer there with a wonderful reading call.
Yeah, very much. Did at any point did you consider buying a Diet Coke for the ride?
I did. I had a Diet Coke for the ride. I did get one for the ride. Yeah, I bought myself. I went to the hospital canteen and I bought myself a bottle of Diet Coke, and like a little pastry as a treat post surgery.
Yeah.
So I had something to look forward to. Like if somehow like it had gone wrong, you're like, oh, they cut my penis off, but at least I've got a biscuit.
Well, I mean, I don't think we're going to find a more full circle moment than you. Not sure if you pissed yourself in public and telling us about it.
That's
where we
excellent.
started.
Oh, to be clear, I definitely didn't piss myself in public.
Congratulations.
Oh, well, look at you, Mr. Smug.
Yet another reason you're better than that improv teacher. Way to go.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of reasons why I'm better than that improv teacher.
But Paul, where can people find you? Are you doing any quests soon?
I am. Question time is a little limited these days because so I was like streaming 3-4 times a week, but I got a full-time job for a couple of weeks and I've not been. But Wednesday nights we are still questing timing on the Questing Time Twitch channel. I'm hoping to start introducing some more of the regular streams again. But we've also got a new thing starting this Thursday. We're doing a once a month monthly one-shot night, which Jess, my partner, is going to be DMing. So we have a bunch of different guests coming in and playing one-shots, which aren't D&D. They're like random. So we're doing Sexy Battle Wizards this week.
Nice.
We've got Alex Lolly's former Dicebreaker. We've got Guy Kelly, I think. We've got Kat Mariner and somebody else, but I can't remember who, because I've looked at the list of everyone for the next couple of months and I can't remember which is which. But yeah, that'll be nice and stupid. That's Thursday nights at 7.
Great.
But yes, we'll be doing like lots of things like Grant Howitt's games, like Sexy Battle Wizards is one, Honey Heist, Jason Statham's Big Vacation.
Yeah. We got David Horse out here shooting his shot.
Ooh. Yeah, DM David, just leave me a DM on this at Questing Time, and I'll put you in the stack.
Nice.
And then we've got live shows coming up. When's the next one? June.
Are you at the Star Kings now, or are you still at the Phoenix?
Still at the Phoenix.
Great.
June 12th, for which we've got Johnny Chiodini, Jeremy Cobb from Three Black Halflings, and Poppy Hilsted, who will be entering the chat.
Nice.
Live on stage, playing actual Dungeons and Dragons, but not good. Just fun. We play well, we play fun. That's on the 12th. So like, you can't buy tickets for that yet. I forgot to do that today. But I just remembered I haven't put those on sale yet.
That reminded me of the slogan of a volleyball team that I played for at Grumpy's Bar. And we had this put on the back of our shirts.
Losers at volleyball, winners in life.
Nice.
Very good. Very good.
We were terrible, but we were having the most fun.
Lovely.
Cool.
That's my approach to comedy.
Hey.
Well, Paul, thank you so much,
Thanks so much for
coming
filming.
on.
Always a pleasure. Never a chore.
Yeah,
We'll have a brief chat afterwards, so hang on.
I'll be fucking better.
Yeah, especially because we weren't sure how much of the show actually was going to make it through. So
Yeah.
having you come on as a guest, John, was a godsend. That was a great thought, Ashley. Good job, everybody.
Yeah, Paul, how does it feel knowing that you got an invite because I had diarrhea?
Not the worst reason I've been booked for stuff.
We are going to raid Fox Comedy because it's his 1 year anniversary.
It's his 1 year anniversary.
It's his 1 year. So it's happy birthday to George Fox. Raid message, happy birthday.
Yes.
We're gonna go. Make sure to follow Questing Time. Are you on Twitter, or Instagram, or anything?
I'm on Twitter at Twitter as @Questing Time, on Instagram as Questing Time Comedy.
Perfect.
And don't follow me in real life.
Yeah, no, but do see his live shows. The live shows are so fucking
see
fun.
The live shows.
They're so
I would
fun.
love to catch a
if I was
show.
in the UK, I'd be hitting you up about that because it's so good. When I come back, I'm definitely going to.
When are you back? This is post-stream content.
It's all very up in the air. It won't be for a little while though, but yeah. All right, we are going. I'm going to start the raid for George Fox. We love you. Follow Ashley. Follow Ashley. Follow John. Follow me on all of our stuff. The information's on the page. We love you. Here's an old lady talking about sex.
That's all. Penis into her vagina. That's all. That's all. And that's called sexual intercourse. Some people call it having sex. So the man passes the sperm to the woman, and now his sperm is in her.